A perfectly normal couple in the early 1990s led a peaceful suburban existence in Chicago. They lived what appeared to be a typical, peaceful life, blending in perfectly. However, they were concealing a deadly secret behind that exterior. They were the masterminds behind a series of bank robberies and auto thefts that swept through the Chicago area, leaving a path of devastation and even deaths in their wake. This is the Bearded Bandits' notorious story. The American married criminal duo Jeffrey E. Erickson and Jill Sandra Erickson were from Illinois and were notorious for a string of brutal bank robberies. In 1990 and 1991, the Ericksons are suspected of committing 8 bank robberies in the Chicago metropolitan area. Their strategy was for Jeffrey to announce a holdup while wearing a fake beard and holding a police scanner, while Jill prepared the getaway cars. Jeffrey committed suicide after trying to escape 2 U.S. Marshals' custody, while she committed suicide following a fast-paced chase. Normal Life, a 1996 movie, was based on the Ericksons' exploits. Early life. Jeffrey was born to Jack Erickson, a middle manager at the telephone company, and June, a stay-at-home mother. He grew up in Morton Grove, a suburb of Chicago, Illinois, with his older brother Jim. After graduating from Niles West High School, where he was a member of the swim team, Jeffrey joined the United States Marine Corps, where he learned to shoot well. Jill was the younger of 2 daughters raised by adoptive parents, Carl Cohen, a pharmacist, and Fran Cohen, a child education specialist in Niles, Illinois. Jeffrey met Jill in a bar near her house on her 17th birthday. He nicknamed her Gorgeous because of her long golden hair. Jeffrey later remarked that Jill and I were crazy about each other. After 6 months of dating, they moved in together, mainly due to Jill's stress over her parents' upcoming divorce. Jeffrey and Jill married in a civil ceremony on July 29, 1983. Now that was the beginning of a huge chaos that made many worries. Let's take a look at their life together and their criminal life. Jeffrey found work as a truck driver and chauffeur, while Jill worked as a lab technician while studying chemistry at Loyola University, Chicago. Both of them never settled down, moving once a year owing to landlord complaints about the pets and birds they owned. Then Jeffrey joined the Hoffman Estates Police Department in 1986. He was later fired, with Police Chief Donald Cundiff claiming that Jeffrey lacked common sense. His mother remarked that Jeffrey disliked arresting people because he felt that it could ruin someone's day. Jeffrey committed his first bank robbery on January 9, 1990, at the Wilmette branch of First Nationwide Bank. His method of operation of brazenly entering the bank wearing a fake dark beard, baseball cap, sunglasses and driving gloves, holding a police scanner and announcing a hold-up would be replicated with military precision in the majority of the pair's subsequent robberies over the next 2 years. Jeffrey's mask would eventually lead bank personnel to refer to him as the bearded bank robber or a bearded bandit. To conceal his weight, he wore layers of garments. Jill's role is considered to have involved arranging escape cars. On November 4, 1991, Palatine police officer Kevin Maher was pursuing a Japanese-made automobile when he saw that its registration sticker had expired. When Maher initiated a traffic stop, the car's driver, wearing a fake beard and sunglasses, slammed on the brakes, leaped out, and opened fire on him with a .223 assault rifle. Maher, still in his squad car, drove away from the scene and was shot in the shoulder. Rookie police dispatcher James Dunning, who was riding behind Maher, was unharmed. Following the shooting, federal officials formed a special task team. On November 18th, a man with a fake beard stole a First Chicago Bank branch in Elk Grove Village. Townhouse, bookshop, and Jill's degradation. In February 1991, the couple purchased a $86,000 townhouse on Waterford Drive in Hanover Park, with a cash down payment of $22,600. Jeffrey explained to the real estate agent that he had been self-employed and that money was not an issue for him. The couple, who were regarded as isolated people, were nocturnal, leaving around 3 a.m. on their noisy Honda motorcycles. In May, Jeffrey established a used bookstore in Roselle. Customers were captivated by the book's superb condition and Jeffrey's knowledge of the classics. By winter, Jeffrey reported that Jill had entered a hospital with an alcohol issue and was diagnosed with manic depression. Jim Erickson, Jeffrey's brother, reported that doctors diagnosed her with schizophrenia and prescribed Prozac. Death of Jill Erickson. On December 10th, investigators discovered a Mazda sedan with its ignition wires exposed near the edge of a parking lot. Noticing that no robberies had occurred nearby, they decided to stake out the car. 6 days later, just before noon, Jeffrey and Jill drove into the parking lot in a grey van. It was thought that they had planned to rob their 9th bank. When Jeffrey stepped out and entered the stolen automobile, the officers quickly surrounded it. According to authorities, Jeffrey was carrying 2 firearms, a fake beard, and 2 fake mustaches. When the cops approached Jill in the van, she sped away, with the cops following closely after. The chase continued at high speeds for 11 miles through Schaumburg, exceeding 110 miles per hour, which is 180 kilometers per hour, until Jill turned onto Bear Flag Drive at 12:15 p.m., the entrance to a gated residential subdivision in Hanover Park. When she found herself encircled, she opened fire on the officers, who returned fire, striking her. She was discovered slumped on the seat, blood gushing from her head, and confirmed dead at Humana Hospital in Hoffman Estates at 6 p.m. The coroner determined that, while Jill was struck by police shots, her death was triggered by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Jeffrey was arrested for involvement with at least 8 bank robberies, totaling $180,000. An inspection of the townhouse turned up 38 various types of guns and 25 boxes of ammunition, as well as smoke grenades, gas masks, burglary tools, a police radio scanner, and $1,742 in cash. The garage housed a massive safe, and a bulletproof vest had been waiting at their mailbox. Death of Jeffrey Erickson. On February 12, 1992, Jeffrey Erickson was charged on federal counts related to 8 bank robberies as well as state charges related to Officer Maher's shooting, to which he pled not guilty. His trial began on July 13th in the United States District Court. 3 days later, while Officer Maher testified that he couldn't definitively identify Erickson as the shooter, federal prosecutors disclosed that round shells seized at the scene matched a gun discovered in the Ericksons' townhouse. On July 20th, shortly before 5:30 p.m., Erickson was escorted from the Dirksen Federal Building courtroom to the Metropolitan Correctional Center via a basement. Using a stolen handcuff key, he was able to free one of his shackled hands, overpowered a deputy United States Marshal to get her service weapon, and fatally shot her partner Roy Bill Frakes twice in the back of the head. Erickson, who was dressed in a suit and tie for his trial, planned to flee and disappear into the rush-hour commuting crowd. However, gunfire occurred, and Erickson shot Chicago Police Department veteran detective and Special Deputy Marshal Harry Belafonte once in the chest. However, while lying on the ground dying, Belafonte shot Erickson 4 times in the back with his own .38 Special Service revolver. Erickson, who may have been severely wounded at the time, ventured halfway up a ramp leading to the street, dropped to one knee and shot himself in the head, dying really quickly. Their story captivated the attention of individuals, and movies were created on their corrupt lives. Their names established part of the history of legendary criminals, permanently associated with their crazy deeds. However, it is important to remember that their romantic relationship ended tragically, not only for them, but additionally for others. While Jeff and Jill's story may live on in films and novels, the real cost of their conduct serves as a reminder that crime has grave repercussions. That's the story of the bearded bandit and his wife, who were responsible for a series of savage bank robberies. What are your thoughts about the video? Make sure you comment your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's meet again with another interesting video.